Not everyone that works in law enforcement, not everyone that is a security officer is involved in organized stalking and harassment. I can attest to this. I worked as a security officer when I was in the state of Texas. Okay? They do it to their own. You hear it on the news from time to time. You've heard the stories about how a police officer will find out about how corrupt their department is and they go up against that department. And you all hear about how it ends up for that officer or even security officer. So it does exist. I can attest to that. Again, I was a licensed security officer, commissioned and non-commissioned officer in the state of Texas. These people will do it to their own. They will intentionally have you come on board. They'll hire you, and then they will send you to these certain posts so that they can have a field day with experimenting on you, a field day with practicing on you with their little psychological operations and Jade Helm type programs that they enact upon you. They did this to me all the time, and there's just this huge consensus in the TI community that all police are involved in it, or all, especially all security officers, they're all perps and stalkers. No, they did this to me, and I was a security officer again. Okay. You hear it on the news all the time. Officer that goes up against a department that was corrupt or exposing something that was corrupt within a department. And you all hear about how it ends up for that officer or even security officer for exposing the evil, for shedding light on a situation that was corrupt. Okay, so there's good and bad in everything. Not you know, and assuredly, law enforcement, they play an integral role in this beast system. Absolutely. But not every one of them are bad people. You get what I'm saying? So anyways, this video that I'm going to show, I have a plethora of police videos that I haven't even posted to YouTube. Again, it got so repetitive. It just got to the point to where, what's the point of me posting all these police videos and police encounters and whatnot? What is the point? Okay? Is it really causing change? Is it really bringing awareness? Or is me posting these videos serving merely as just a means of amusement or entertainment for people, in hopes that, we hope that he gets slammed on top of the cop, the hood of the cop car, and shackled in cuffs and thrown into the back of the cop car, in hopes that, maybe he'll just get shot. Maybe there'll be a shooting that we can see. Which is the real reason why a lot of these people watch these videos, to be honest. It's for the entertainment purposes of it. It's not about using these videos to create real change and to help an ongoing problem of corruption. No, it's become entertainment. That's all it is. A lot of these auditors that do what they do, and I'm not saying like, some auditors have not made progress with certain things, but when you look at a lot of these videos, it's just mere entertainment. Like, there's no real change. It's like a big act at the end of the day. So this video that I'm going to show you is when I was working a security post. This was the last job that I had when I was living in Dallas, Texas, out of my vehicle. The last job that I had before I fled the state. Okay? I worked as a security officer for this company. The owner of that company was a Mason. He prided himself on making it known that he was a Mason. Wore the ring and everything. So I already knew that was bad news for me. But again, when you are protected, when you are from that which is higher and that which is divine, it don't matter what situation that you're placed in. You will always have that protection there. There are many a times that I found myself like being thrown into the fire and still coming out unscathed. These people literally will try to set you up to be murdered. They will send you to different posts and try to set up the scene just so that you can make the 6 o'clock news. Oh, we have another gun violence episode. This is why we need gun control. It's order out of chaos. These people create these events. They set them up. so they can fit the narrative and their dark agendas of further enslavement and control of humanity. Period. This video is about an hour long. It's worth the watch. I mean, people don't understand, like, there's no end to this targeting. Just because I posted videos of these serene environments and these paradise-like environments, that does not mean that I'm still not going through this. I have chosen to take a break from making these types of videos because it's so repetitive. And I often wonder, is it really causing any change? Yes, it might help someone who's going through this be able to cope, to see a fellow targeted or persecuted person go through this, and to share that camaraderie with that person, and to see that person's strength. Maybe that's something that will give them hope, something that will motivate them to just survive at least one more day or one more week, because you never know what the next day holds. You never know what the next week holds. You never know what the next month holds. And this is the hope that we have, that even though tomorrow might seem dark, you never know how it might end up the next day, or, you know, like the next week or next month. You never know had you hung in there a little bit longer. And these are the people that I try to target when I make these videos, in hopes that I'm reaching these people, for them to survive and for them to still, you know, hold on a little bit longer. So I'm going to play this video. This is an encounter I had while I was at work. The security company I worked for at the time, they completely set this up. Okay? I'll just give you the gist of this situation. Okay? I was living out my vehicle. Level 2, level 3 commissioned security officer. I worked posts that were armed and unarmed. Okay? I was homeless, living out my car. I have firearms. Okay? There's no way that I'm going to allow anyone else to hold possession of my firearms, even if I'm working a non-commissioned post. Meaning a post that does not require firearms. Now, mind you, in this situation, the reason why they said that they fired me was because they said that I had firearms on my person. I did not have any firearms on my person. There was no firearms in my pants. I didn't have a duty belt on with firearm or anything like that. Yes, I had firearms in the vehicle, but they were not in my person. You never allow anyone to keep your firearms. They tried to say, like, oh, well, we had lockers at the office. He could have placed his firearms in the lockers at the office. You got to be fucking crazy. Excuse my French. With what we go through as targets and the amount of sabotage that these people enact upon us, it would be completely insane to have someone else look after your firearms, especially if you know this person is a Mason. And it's been said that Masons, Eastern Stars, these fraternal orders and groups, these secret societies are all involved in this secret covert persecution against certain individuals. So how stupid would it be of me to allow these people to hold my firearms only to sabotage them when I need them the most? And the whole reason why they didn't want me having firearms on that post to begin with, because they try to set up situations to where I would get jumped. And that's all it was. These people are given intel, they're given information as to whether you're armed or unarmed. And I saw the differences in behaviors and attitudes when I was armed and when I wasn't armed. How bold some of these people can get. Now, again, these people, and I said this in a previous video when I went live earlier, these people are cowards. They have to work in groups to come against you, so that they can use plausible deniability. You get different people, different ethnicities, different groups of people coming against one person. If the consensus is, oh, this person is crazy, majority carries the vote, right? Then he must be crazy. That's the narrative that they paint. So they tried to set me up. They didn't get the outcome that they wanted, which was ultimately for me to get hurt or possibly even killed. So the next best thing they could do is fire me. I did no wrong on this job. I did what I was supposed to do. I came to work every day on time. I never called off work. They had people in this neighborhood harassing me, following me around, trying to set up these vehicular accidents. and just these little fake sceneries, just because they know your routine and they know that you're going to be at point B at a certain time. So they'll crowd around that area or just stay just out of sight for you to show up, and then they pop out. People that go through this know exactly what I'm talking about. How these people just seem to pop up out of nowhere when they know that you're heading down the street at a certain time, because that's part of your schedule to be there at that certain time, so they know to set up whatever it is they're going to set up. The Bible says the serpent was the most cunning of the field. These people are very, very cunning and very intelligent, but at the same time they're very stupid. The same thing Charlie Murphy was talking about, these high functioning retards. But yet and still they can't figure out why I've survived as long as I have. They're scratching their heads wondering. Some of them will say, oh, it's because he's lucky. Really? Because I'm lucky? Everything that I've been through, all the stuff that these people have done to me, I have continued to thrive. Yes, I may continue to live a hard life, and I accept living that hard life. I'd rather go down the narrow path, just as Jesus spoke about in the Bible. The path is narrow. It ain't wide, it ain't straight, it's narrow. And that's the path that I will continue to go down. So let me go ahead and play this video. This was when I got the cops called on me by a resident of this $1 million neighborhood. Is Lakeside on Preston. I think the neighbor is the name of the neighborhood or whatever. I was doing patrols in a company vehicle from what time? I think it was from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning is the schedule that I worked. And they would have these people living in these $1 million neighborhoods. You would think that they'd have something better to do than to come out to fuck with security while they're trying to do their job. So I will give continuous narrations as this goes on, give more explanations so that you guys can get the full scope as to what the situation is. But this scene right here that I'm about to play. This is the beginning of it. This is where the cops got called on me. This is the Plano Police Department. They came out to investigate because they got a call from an individual that lied and said that it appeared as if I was on something, when really this individual was embarrassed because she got caught following me. She got caught doing wrong, and she knew that I had recorded her doing wrong. So what was the only thing left she had to do? She had to call the cops. But again, as I said before, it was all a setup. All of this was just a complete setup. So I'm just going to play the video.
And I noticed that she was following kind of like closely behind me. I noticed in the rear that she also put on her right signal to make a right turn on this street right up here. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but I'm making the left turn. She passes up her turn, and then she still continues to follow my vehicle. And I had to stop to make sure it was safe for me to make my turn. But she had ample opportunity and space to make her right turn, but she chose to still continue behind my vehicle. Okay. So I reached out and spoke to her, and I was like...
So I had just finished a patrol at a certain section of that property, okay? I was headed back to my final section of area that I had to patrol, which was the community center. So once I'm done patrolling all the different sections of that big neighborhood, the final section to patrol and secure is the community center. So this is the situation. I was on my way back to the community center when all of a sudden I had this individual pretty much like just following me, okay? So when I got to the point to where there was like a split off, and then there was a part to where I'm supposed to make my left turn to go to my section, the community center section, this lady... she had put her right signal on to make a right turn. I'm making a left. She's supposed to be making a right turn, and she's behind me, right? I see her put her signal on, and I got it on video, okay? And then she goes from putting her right signal on to make a right turn, and all of a sudden she cuts her signal off and proceeds to follow behind my vehicle, okay? And then there was an interaction that pursued. Like, I asked her, I was like, are you following me? Like, is everything all right? What's going on? And I'm trying to remember, was it before this actual verbal encounter or afterwards? But anyways, I think after it was done, she continued to go ahead and make a right turn after we had our conversation. Okay? And she turned down the wrong side of the road. Okay? So the evil that she was involved in, it was like she knew she was doing wrong, and it was like she got her karma right then and there because she turned down the wrong side of the road. So that made her look stupid, right? Because I'm recording. I had a phone, my phone camera that was mounted in the back of that patrol vehicle, recording her actions. And again, these perps know when we're recording. They are briefed. They're told. They do the little hand signal where they'll tilt their eyeglasses, or they'll get phone communication that the target or the subject is recording. You know, proceed with caution, or however, whatever lingo it is that they use. So she got caught. So this is why the police were called. But again, this was all set up by the security company that I work for as well. Okay, they wanted to bust me for having firearms on the property, on a level 2 property. Okay, level 2 non-commission is a property you work that does not require firearms because it's non-commission. So that's what they were trying to get me for. Let me continue playing the video.
Like, you know, is there any reason why you're following me or you're on my tail? And she told me that I almost caused an accident, and that wasn't the case. And when I got out of the vehicle and I looked, I was like, she had a lot of space to make her turn, and she refused to make her turn. You know, she stayed on my bumper. Then when she finally decides to make the turn, she turns onto the wrong side of the road. So she's going on the opposite direction to where traffic is coming out on that side. Like there's a divider. Yeah, so on this side, she's supposed to make the right turn, but she's up where I'm at. So when she makes her turn, she's driving into the, So I'm like, exactly. So you may want to make sure she's okay to drive. I noticed she has kids in the vehicle, and I just happen to have your ID on you by chance. Have I committed a crime at this point? Okay. I don't want to provide any identification at this point because I have not committed a crime.
All right. Would you be willing to provide your name?
No, sir. I don't want to give any other information. I haven't committed a crime, so I'm just asserting my rights, not to give you a hard time.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason for that?
Just asserting my rights.
Just for fun of it?
Oh, not fun of it. It's just.
And see, there has been this ongoing theme with my encounters with law enforcement, especially when I was in Texas. There's been this ongoing theme where they try to make it a point that, oh, we're going to ID him. We're going to get him to ID himself one way or the other. So they couldn't get me to ID off duty when I'm just a regular civilian, you know what I mean? Just parking at churches, or, just somewhere stationary where they pull up and they try to ID you. And I'm like, look, I have not committed a crime. They could never get me to ID during those times. So what they did this time around was they tried to see if they could get me to ID while I'm on the clock at work. Now, his whole logic behind asking me for ID was that, we have similar jobs. I worked in security. He's the actual law enforcement officer. We share camaraderie. We both run the risk of losing our lives on duty. So there's that kind of like brotherhood or camaraderie that we share, in a sense that our jobs are similar. But I still exercise my right to exercise my rights and to go by what the law says. And even on duty, I still refuse to ID myself because I have not committed a crime. And I just thought it was very suspicious that they didn't further investigate this woman, even though I had footage showing this woman went down the wrong road. They didn't even think to say, okay, well, ma'am, have you been drinking, or have you done any drugs? Like, she had kids in the vehicle with her. Okay? And we're going to get to that part because I actually got video footage of her. And this coward, this whole thing with COVID and people wearing these masks, it's so convenient for people to cover their faces now, especially when they're in the wrong and doing something they're not supposed to. They easily can cover their faces now and use COVID to try to cover up their crimes, and them just doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing. So anyways, let me finish playing the video.
Just asserting my rights. Are you familiar with Texas Penal Code 3802?
Yeah.
You are?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
But it's pretty normal for a person to, and especially if you're a security guard. I think we're kind of working together. It's just kind of courtesy. If you ask me my name, I'd tell you.
Sure.
But I mean, you certainly don't have to.
Yeah, I understand, sir. I just prefer not to at this point. Just doing my job around the neighborhood, and she just
weird,
seemed to have the issue. Yeah, it's extremely weird. I have footage of it as well, of her.
So why were you recording her?
Huh? Why was I recording?
Yeah.
I'm a security officer. I have recording devices on the vehicle. I had a rear camera going, and I have a front camera that's on there right now, and I have a body cam. So
Why was I recording her? Like, why are you recording me? Don't you have a body cam on? Why are you recording me? That should answer your question. If we share jobs that are similar in dealing with people that are not always honest and forthcoming and truthful, the recording device is integral. It is an important device to have, because if a situation arises and you have to go to court, the video camera will show what happened. So, again, this was all a setup. This is all acting. They know why they were called out there. They know what was going on. So they're playing the role to act like, they're just going through the procedures, when ultimately they already know what the outcome's going to be. So
for situations like this, it's always important to document, so that when you review the video, you can see what really happened.
So you just sit over here and just wait for a response? Do you call them?
At 10 o'clock, I come back over here to shut down the community center. And then once that's done, I will sit here for a minute to have lunch and stuff like that. And then I drive off to continue my patrols for the rest of the night. Yes, sir.
Are you carrying today?
I'm sorry?
Are you carrying?
No, it's not a level 3 post, so you don't carry a firearm on a level 2 post, so.
Very well.
Yes, sir.
now see, he asked me if I was carrying. So meaning, are you armed do you have your service pistol on you? It's basically what he was asking me. Okay. I did not have any firearms on my person. Did I have firearms in the vehicle? Of course. I was homeless. Security company that I work for knew that I was homeless and that I live out my vehicle. Okay, they knew this. So where else would I put my firearms? What person in their right mind would trust another person to secure their personal firearms? Okay? So they're just full of crap at the end of the day. They already knew the outcome. They already knew what they were trying to get at with this, and it didn't matter if I was right. It didn't matter if I had evidences of anything. They already had their minds made up as to what they were going to do this night.
Sure. I ain't been working for Partook.
I don't want to give that information.
God, man.
I get you're conducting your investigations and stuff like that, but it's just, just protecting myself, being assertive with my rights. I'm an American citizen, and I think it's important for people to know their rights and assert them. And that's all it is. Not, like I was saying earlier, not to give you a hard time. So. Yep. And I've already contacted my supervisor about the situation, so she's aware of what's going on as well. So.
Okay. Would you be willing to give me your supervisor's contact information?
No, sir. Matter of fact, I do need to contact her right now.
Okay.
Man, again, at this point, they're just playing dumb. They already know the situation. They're trying to paint this picture like I'm being uncooperative and like I'm the one that I'm the suspect, like I've committed a crime when I have done nothing wrong. Okay, this is all an act. Trust and believe me when I tell you, this situation was set up because their whole goal was to find a reason to fire me. That's all it was. Let's continue.
Hey, Sergeant, it's Officer Ochuko. So the lady ended up calling you're the Plano Police Department? Okay.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she ended up calling the Plano Police Department. and they're out here talking to me now. So I gave them an account of what happened and let them know that I recorded the situation, and so they're just out here talking to me now.
What did she say? What?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Did you hear the fakeness in this woman's voice? Now, this woman has always had it out for me since I first started the company. Her name was, she's Sergeant Cottle was her name. Okay. When I first got to the company, they were very impressed. They spoke about how well spoken I was, how very intelligent I seemed, and all this. And again, a lot of companies that I've worked for, I've dealt with this throughout all my life. I come in with a good attitude to do a good job, to learn the ways of the company, and to just do the best job that I can. And when you shine the way that you do, and you have people that have been working for this company for so long and they've not been able to be promoted or move up or get raises, and then you come in and all of a sudden you're doing so well, you're gonna cause a little animosity. You're gonna have some people that are kind of jealous of, your attitude and your demeanor and your drive. So she was definitely one of these people. She tried any and everything she could to try to paint me in a bad light because I questioned things, because there were certain things that was going on that I felt was not really appropriate or fair, and all I did was question and ask questions, as any normal human being should do. You ask questions if you're not clear on something. If something doesn't seem fair, you bring it to people's attention to find out why and stuff like that. So, she always kind of had it out for me because she started to look like she was incompetent because I had all this video evidence. When I worked for this company, there was so much hearsay and there was a lot of, well, I told him this, but then my video recording evidence shows that you said something completely different. Okay? So there was a lot of that was going on, and they didn't like me for that. Okay? Because I always could back up what I said, and I could back up what was told to me because I had the video evidence to prove it. And I always found it very suspicious that no one ever wanted to see my video evidence. Even though it could totally nip it in the bud and you could see the truth, no one ever said, let's see the evidence. Even when I offered to show them video evidences, they never wanted to see it. They didn't care. Okay? Let me go ahead and play the video. This is why I would not make a good cop. Okay? This is why I did not want to apply for a job working with local law enforcement. I went above that and tried to get a job with the DEA, but then further found out some more stuff. But that's another story. I will let me finish playing this video.
I don't know what she's telling them or what have you, but that's it.
Did they talk to you yet?
Yeah, I have one officer
Would
that's
you like to explain, or like me to explain to her what the other person is alleging?
just one moment, sir. Yes, ma'am. I have a officer that's talking to me right now, and then there's another officer that's talking to the lady across the way.
Okay, just leave me on the phone and tell him whatever it is he needs to know.
Okay. Do you need to speak with him directly? Because he's asking me for my information, and I'm just asserting my rights, and I've done that so far. So is there anything that you want to say to him?
What is she saying that you did?
I have. That's what we're trying to find out. All I know is remember when I was on the phone with you earlier and I told you I was pulling into the community center because she continued to follow me?
Right.
Within, I would say, about 10 minutes after we had our conversation, that's when the Plano Police Department showed up. So that's where I'm at right now.
If he's asking for your ID, just give him your ID, and I don't know what she could say, what she's complaining of, but you have a job and you're doing your job, and that's that.
Right, but so,
see, one of the main objectives of this situation was for my security company, okay, to get me to yield or give up my ID to the police, because I am known as an individual that does not give his identification to the police, especially if I've not committed a crime, off duty especially. Okay, so that was one of the main objectives, was to get Officer Ochuko to ID himself as an officer that's on duty with the security company, okay, to ID himself to a lawful law enforcement officer. And that wasn't going to happen, because I'm going to tell you one thing: the security companies that you work for whenever you get in a situation where it's a lawful matter on account of something that has been alleged that you have done criminally, the security company is not going to represent you. The security company is not going to get you a lawyer. You are on your own. We're told this before you even get out on post. Like, the paperwork that you signed to even get the job. These people are not responsible for your court fees or representation of any kind if something happens on this post. You are on your own. So again, I did nothing wrong in refusing to ID myself while even on duty as a security officer. I was not obligated to do that. Okay? I just want to be very clear. And again, this woman, all of this was an act. For those of you that have the ears to hear, you can hear the fakeness in this woman's voice if you really just listen. That whole thing where she sounded like she was shocked, it was bullshit. Excuse my French again. It was complete bullshit. They knew what they were doing. Okay? These people illegally surveillance me and they watch me. Okay? And all I tried to do was expose the shit. Oh, I did ABC? Well, how did you know I did AB? How did you know that I did ABC and you weren't there? You get what I'm saying? Because they got eyes in the sky, but they'll never admit it because what they're doing is illegal. You get what I'm saying? Let me finish playing the video.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Sergeant.
No, if he needs to talk to me or whatever it is, then okay.
Okay.
I mean, if he's just getting your ID to see if, you know, who you are or whatever, then okay, but he should be getting something for her too. Like, what the heck is going on?
Yes, ma'am. Can I say something to you, ma'am?
Yeah.
I'm familiar with a penal code called Texas Penal Code 3802. It states that I am obligated to identify myself by giving a valid driver's license, a valid date of birth and address, provided that I have been placed under lawful arrest. At this point, they are not placing me under a lawful arrest, so I chose not to identify myself. So that's exactly what I said to the officer.
And what did he say?
He was just wondering why I didn't want to give the information. He kind of questioned me about it, but that is Texas state law, and that's a penal code for Texas state law. And he's aware of that.
Right, of course. So what did he say after you explained or told him that?
We're just hanging tight at the moment. His partner's still talking to the lady in the other vehicle right now. And then I told him I was going to give you a call. So that's where we're at right now. Yeah, so it's, I have my recording devices going. I have my body cam on right now and everything. So I'm just hanging tight, just waiting for his partner to finish her investigation, and that's it.
Does she realize that you are security for the complex?
Yes, ma'am. I would think so. I have the, the flashing orange lights, and it has the security company insignia on the side of the vehicles, and I'm not sure. I think once she realized that I had recording devices, it kind of embarrassed her a bit, because you could clearly, see that she put on her signal, and I observed this from the rearview mirror. She put on her right turn signal to make a right turn. I'm going left, so I wasn't going the same way she was going. So I'm trying to figure out why she was still behind me at that point. And like I said earlier, she passed up her turn and was still up behind me. So I'm like, okay, is this lady following me? Like, do I need to be extra alert about this, or just very strange? And then when we finally finished,
she was an agent provocateur. She's one of those people that's part of the homeowners association bullshit, and they play an integral role in the harassment, this fake ass neighborhood watch bullshit that they use to target certain people that they've deemed dissidents, people that they deem that are nonconformists, that are just social misfits in their eyes. So that's all it is. People like me have been flagged. We're on watch list. We're told that the people are told that we're bad news everywhere that we go. So you have these useful idiots that they'll use to act as agent provocateurs to try to stir up some nonsense or some drama. So that's exactly what happened. This woman, what some people might call a Karen, decided to go ahead and follow me and to try to create a scene so as to bring attention to me, to bring it to the attention of my employer, so that ultimately it could lead to, write up or termination or what have you. Okay, so that's all it was at the end of the day. Let me finish playing the video.
Start a little conversation that we had at the intersection. She's making her turn, but she's turning into the wrong side of the road. So it just didn't make any sense. And then she has children in the vehicle with her too. So.
And I'm assuming she's Caucasian.
I got you on speakerphone, ma'am. Yeah. Yes.
And see, that had nothing to do with it. Like, I don't play the race card and any of this kind of stuff, because they use black people, they use Mexican people, especially Mexican people, they use Asian people. I mean, it's different ethnicities that are involved in this nonsense. Okay, it's a satanic New World Order, Stasi, Nazi type of agenda going on, and these people have been deputized to be involved in this against people in this country. And these are the true terrorists. There's no terror from Saudi Arabia or Iran or none of that shit. The terrorists are here in this country. They look like you and me. They are of different ethnicities. This place that they call the United States of America is the United States of terrorists. They're going around provoking people to anger, and it makes you wonder about all these mass shootings that are happening. Okay, none of which makes a lick of sense. None of it makes a lick of sense. Who would wake up one day and want to go up and shoot up a school or go shoot up a mall or a restaurant? Something was going on. Something was happening. Okay? But they will never talk about the truth. They will never tell the truth. Ever. Let me finish playing the video.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have been noticing some strange vehicular situations, but I'm the type of person I don't really
Wait. This was me trying to explain the gang stalking, right? I'm trying to be smart about it. I didn't want to use the term gang stalking or they're harassing me or anything like that. So this is me trying, in a roundabout way, trying to explain the gang stalking without them being able to say, oh, he's crazy. You get what I'm saying? So I was real careful with my verbiage and the words that I was using to describe the situation. Now, again, I'm explaining this shit to these people and they know exactly what's going on, right? But for the sake of the viewers, for the sake of the unwitting public, because I know I was recording this, so I'm going to have to give account and explain the situation. So that's why I put this in there so that other targets can see this is my way of explaining gang stalking without actually using those terms that's associated with that.
complain. I just stick to doing my job and put things in the report.
I moved it back a little bit so you could hear it from the beginning.
Caucasian?
I got you on speakerphone, ma'am. Yeah. Yes.
Look, I didn't know what she was going to say when she said Caucasian. I didn't know. I'm like, did you not realize that I have you on speaker? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm trying to keep it was all bullshit anyway. It was all part of, I guess they were trying to use that to see if I was going to bite. That was like some bait they put out there to see, this old cracker lady or white woman or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to see if I was going to bite on it and say something out of pocket or whatever, but I'm not stupid. Anyways, again, the racial thing to me is just, yes, systematic white supremacy does exist in this world, absolutely. But I don't play that card and I don't identify with race. I don't consider myself black, white, Mexican, Asian. I'm not a race. I am a spirit that is embodied in this physical flesh, and my spirit has there's no definition or color or boundary, if that makes sense. So anyways.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have been noticing some strange vehicular situations, but I'm the type of person I don't really complain. I just stick to doing my job and put things in the reports. But yeah, that was just very strange. I don't know if they had some type of little campaign going on. I have no idea. For what reason, I wouldn't even know. But I have been kind of noticing stuff like that, but I just continued to work.
Oh, okay, hold on. Don't hang up. Just hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
off in the distance, his partner was talking to that lady. Okay. Um, it was, again, they're all in on it, so they got to play the scenery because they know I record, so they have to put something in front of the camera to make it seem like it's all legit, when really it's just an act.
Yes, ma'am.
They're still talking to her?
Yeah, his partner is now approaching me as we speak.
Okay.
Hi, ma'am. They're having a conversation right now, so just waiting to see.
I can't hear. The two police officers?
Yes, a male and a female
You
officer.
Jim Gibson?
I'm sorry?
You Mr. Gibson?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, well, I'm going to go run it. Okay. You wouldn't mind standing by?
That's fine. I'm good.
He asked me if I was a Kim Gibson, so I just told him I'm not going to answer that question.
A what?
A Kim Gibson?
What is that?
I don't know where he got that information, but he says he's going to run it right now. So the male officer is going back to his.
So apparently that was kind of confusing. Like, did that lady say that was my name? Like, well, why I'm not a female, unless he ran the plates of the security truck, which obviously that's not going to be in my name. That's supposed to be in the name of the company, but who knows what name they have it under. So I'm assuming that's where he got that name from, but I don't know. Again, the whole situation was just a bunch of bullshit, high strangeness and weirdness, but at the end of the day, I already knew what it was about, so just it's all part of the show.
His vehicle, and then I have the female officer that's still here with me right now.
I guess I need to be on my way there, apparently.
And I am clearly I'm a security officer, right? I'm in the vehicle with the flashing lights, with the insignia on the side of the truck, as I said earlier. I have my uniform. I have my jacket on, which company policy is you can have, like, you don't have to have your actual security uniform shirt on. Like, if you have a security jacket on that has the company's insignia on it, that's good enough. So they even tried to use that against me that night, to say that I wasn't in uniform, when there was complete bullshit. I had on the security company that I worked for at that time. I had their jacket on, which has the insignia. I had on my slacks. I had on my black shoes. I had my flat, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had everything I was supposed to have to be presentable or presented as a security officer, so that if anybody saw me, they knew I was a security officer. So again, it was just complete nonsense. But let me continue playing the video.
What the heck is a Kim Gibson? Is that a person, a thing? Like, what?
I have no idea.
Well, do you look like a Kim? I mean, yeah.
She's playing the role. Don't be fooled. Just listen to her voice. She's full of shit.
Am I being detained?
Yes, sir, you are.
Uh-oh.
She said yes?
Yeah, she says I am.
For what? Okay.
I guess because the other officer is looking up his information, so.
I'm driving there now.
Okay.
She wasn't driving nowhere. They were all around the corner, okay? This was all set up, all right? It wasn't no, oh, I'm driving there. These people were around the corner, all right? Make no mistake.
So what did the other lady say?
So what I ended up telling her is like she was wanting to sit here and find out what you had to say and what she said to say, and I said,
Don't hang up.
look, we'll just
Yes,
do
ma'am.
our own investigation, the
Sure.
officers, and as long as there's no offense or anything that's happened, then everybody's just going to go about their business. But I was like, I'm not going to disclose what his information to you or whatever he has to say, and vice versa.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
But see, that's bullshit because, like she said that when she spoke to her, that she said that she wasn't going to disclose my information to her, and that her information wouldn't get disclosed to me, and that everybody could just go about their business. Clearly, everybody didn't go about their business because they kept me there and detained me while they let her agent provocateur ass drive off. Okay? So that clearly wasn't the deal. Pay attention. I will play it again so you can hear what this female officer was saying.
So what did the other lady say?
So what I ended up telling her is like she was wanting to sit here and find out what you had to say and what she said to say, and I said,
Don't hang up.
look, we'll just
Yes,
do our
ma'am.
own investigation, the
Sure.
officers, and as long as there's no offense or anything that's happened, then everybody's just going to go about their business. But I was like, I'm not going to disclose what his information to you or whatever he has to say, and vice versa.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I'm still here.
Yeah. So what?
The male officer is now approaching, so we're going to see what he has to say.
Don't hang up.
Yes, ma'am. Am I still being detained?
This is the.
And we got another police officer that rolled up now. So shit's getting real, for real.
The beat officer, so I'm going to explain to him the situation just so he's aware what's going on in his beat, then we'll be all on our merry way.
All right.
And then he cut on his red and blues, right? It ain't flashing, so what does that mean? I'm going to roll up and put on my red and blues and whites, but I'm not going to flash them. But, hey, maybe we'll get more loose shot of them then. These little, like I've seen so many different, what can I even call them? These schemes of lights. Like, of course there's the usual flashing red and blues, and then this was the first time I've ever seen some shit like this, where they roll up. It ain't flashing red and blue. So I guess they don't really have a crime just yet, but they think they do, so we'll just put on the red and blue and have them just stationary? I don't know, but I just thought that was crazy. Anyways.
So they have another officer that has shown up to the scene. He said this is the regular beat officer. So there are now 3 officers at the community center with me.
All I was trying to do was get back to my last section of this property to secure that section and go on about my business, and then all this bullshit is going on. Okay, they treat it like I raped this woman or something, or just you know what I mean? Like I just really just did something so wrong when. Anyways.
You still there, Sergeant?
You there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What's going on now?
There's a 3rd officer that has shown up. So he said that's the regular, beat officer. So he's going to make him aware of what's going on and then go from there.
Are y'all hired by the HOA? Out of just curiosity.
I don't want to answer that question.
What's that?
I just don't want to answer any questions at this point. I'm just asserting my rights, not trying to give anybody a hard time. Just
That is giving us a hard time though, by not even like having a conversation.
I
I
understand.
answer stuff about me. I give you my badge number, my
Sure.
all that, right?
Sure.
So you're a security officer as well, right?
Right,
so
right.
if I ask you, hey, what's your information? Don't you have like the amount of respect for us to give that back? You see what I'm saying?
Sure, I understand. I totally understand.
I mean, like if you ask me, ma'am, what's your name? I'd say Officer Cole, badge 1865, because
Sure.
that's my information. So it's just out of respect since we both do a similar job.
I understand.
Correct?
Just from a legal standpoint, I'm just asserting my rights as a citizen, and,
Right,
and
but
that.
when you're detained, you also have the legal obligation to give us your
That's all
information.
they want to
That's
know.
how that
I
works
mean,
also.
But Texas Penal Code 3802. Are you familiar with that penal code?
3802. Go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am. You are familiar with it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if you're familiar with it, then you know I'm not obligated to give that information.
Under the penal code, you're not.
Right.
Obligated to
I
give
would have to be
information.
under lawful arrest in order to give identifying information.
That's not true. So
That lady don't know what the hell she's talking about, okay? She don't even know what Texas Penal Code 3802 is. If you could just listen to her responses when I asked that question, she couldn't tell me. She didn't even know. She's like trying to play it off like, mm-hmm. But go ahead. Like she's trying to get me to tell her so she can then be informed. But you are a police officer. You are an enforcer of the law. But yet you are not familiar with the laws that you need to have knowledge of in order to be able to enforce those laws. Okay? So that's all I was getting at here. But again, nobody in America likes a smart ass. Nobody likes anybody who's intelligent, who has the knowledge. Okay? So what they do is they get together and they try to shun you. You know, they try to make your life a living hell because they feel that you're beneath them and you need to just shut up and do what they tell you to do and obey. It's New World Order bullshit. Okay? Just like when you put the glasses on in that movie, They Live, and you saw the signs that said obey and all that shit, it's the same shit here. Okay? This is why I did not want to become a local law enforcement officer, because they would Serpico my ass. Okay? Serpico is a movie. Okay? It's an Al Pacino movie. The movie came out in 1973. Okay? I'm an 80s baby, but I like to watch a lot of old school movies before my time. The main character was Al Pacino. He played a character called Frank Serpico. He was an idealistic New York City cop who refused to take bribes, unlike the rest of the force. His actions get Frank shunned by the other officers and often placed in dangerous situations by his partners. It's no different when you work as a security officer. Okay? When you're known to try to expose the truth as to what's happening and what's going on, these people don't like that shit. So they tried to put me in dangerous situations, which is what was going on in this property, by the way, which is why my firearms stayed in my vehicle. Okay, I wasn't going to put my firearms in no closet at corporate while I'm working this property and they trying to set up situations for me to get jumped or even killed. These people had me going out in the wilderness, checking on these garden shacks in the deep forest. No kind of lights or nothing. When I was trained, I was told that I had to go there every night to make sure there weren't anybody in there doing drugs or smoking weed or hanging out in pitch black darkness. Do y'all remember, for those of you that are avid viewers on my channel, do y'all remember a video I put out where there was an owl? I recorded this owl that was in the woods. That was part of my job, was to go in them dark ass woods, okay, where there's coyotes back there. Okay, this is Dallas, it's Plano, Texas. The surrounding area, they're known for having coyotes and that kind of wildlife around there. They wanted me to go in there with no firearm, with just a flashlight and a smile. Okay? This is the kind of bullshit they had me doing. So, think what you want to think, say what you want to say. At the end of the day, you have every God-given right to protect yourself no matter what anybody tells you. Okay? And especially if you're in accordance to what the law states, which clearly these people don't know nothing about the law. They don't even care to follow the law. Alright? Again, Frank Serpico in this movie was set up. Okay? It goes on to say, when his superiors ignore Frank's accusations of corruption, Frank decides to go public with the allegations. Although this causes the Knapp Commission to investigate his claims, Frank has also placed a target on himself. The film is based on a true story. These people put the truth out in front of us all the time in these movies. But yet you have people that be like, oh, you watch too much TV. You know, that's not real. That was on TV. It was just a movie. They are telling you what's going on in this world through these movies, through the music. Okay? I was listening to this YG song the other day. It's called In the Dark. It just happened to be something that popped up on my playlist or whatever. And part of the lyrics of the song was, he was like, nigga, how you get on the charts? And then he goes on to say, face down, ass up, hands up, in the dark. You know what I mean? Like, he's letting you know, like, if you want to get on the charts, if you want to have that status, you're going to have to do things like that in order for you to be able to move forward. So obviously that was a homosexual act that he was speaking of. You know, face down, ass up, in the dark. Go listen to that song and listen to them lyrics and you'll see what I'm talking about. Anyways, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but let me finish playing this video.
So if I stop you in a traffic stop and I say, sir, you need to identify yourself, you don't have to give me your information? Is that what you're telling me?
No, in a traffic stop, that's different because I'm operating
you
a
said you had to be legally or lawfully arrested to give us information.
But a traffic stop that's a legal stop made by an officer, and I'm obligated to show my driver's license to show that I'm able to drive. So, but that's a different situation.
If you're a security officer carrying around a long gun, and we're just trying to verify that everything is on the up and up.
She is such a liar. I was carrying around a long gun, and you guys didn't draw your firearms on me. Like, what the hell are you doing, or drop your weapon? But I was carrying around a long gun. Okay, my guns were in the vehicle. They weren't on my person. I didn't have guns on me. All right, let me be clear. Well, put it like this: if I had firearms on me on that post, okay, they would have arrested me. That was an arrestable offense because I'm not authorized to have it on my person, as in walking around with this shit on me. The security company I worked for knew I was homeless, and they knew that I had to keep my shit in the vehicle. Okay, they knew that I always had my guns in the vehicle. There are countless times where superiors or supervisors have walked by and have seen my gun in the vehicle and didn't say nothing to me. Okay, and part of this was because I wouldn't wear that damn mask too. That was in part the reason why they were trying to get rid of me, because I wouldn't wear that damn face mask. They tried to get me to work. They tricked me into going to posts, and they would be like, oh yeah, you won't have to wear the mask. And then I get there, then oh, what do you know, you have to wear the mask. So obviously if I refuse to wear the mask, they can then use that to say, oh, I refused, or I didn't follow procedure or whatever, and then they could use that against me. So these people were very slick in, you know, in doing what they could to try to build up this report of me being insubordinate and not following rules and all that. So let me finish playing the video.
No.
And everything is legitimate. You know, I work for the security company, and I've had FBI fingerprints and checks and all that, so everything I have is legitimate. So, you still there, Sergeant? I think she hung up.
She got tired.
Oh, go ahead.
I said we don't know that, but
Yeah,
Okay.
Obviously, here's the deal, and I'm sure as you can understand, if you see some weird stuff, what do? You investigate it.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of weird stuff going on right here. I don't understand what's going on. Nothing may be particularly legal, but would we be even close to doing our job as officers if we didn't at least try and figure out what's up? Because I'll be honest, I've pulled over security officers before with a gun on their hip and a Tupperware container full of pot. Like, so just because a person says, hey, I'm a security officer, everything's good,
Right.
doesn't...
There's police officers that ride around with drugs in their vehicles like that too. So, I mean, what's your point? You know what I'm saying? What does that have to do with me? Okay, I didn't have pot or anything like that in the vehicle. Okay, so what does any of this have to do with me? Again, this is all an act. They've been fully briefed as to what the situation is, so they have to play this thing out. Okay, do not be fooled by these people's demeanors. I've repeatedly said this. Please have the eyes to see and the ears to hear.
Doesn't mean everything's good. You know what I'm saying?
I totally understand.
Especially when the other person is saying they think you may be on something, intoxicated on some drugs or whatnot.
Right.
So we got to talk with you, converse, see what our assessment is.
I'm on something, right? But she was the one turning down a one-way street going the wrong way. But I'm on something.
And then move on.
Right.
With children in the car, mind you. We'll get to that in a second.
Like I say, we're not trying to hassle you. It's just one of those. It's just weird.
I totally understand.
I mean, what's the Jim Gibson stuff? Do you mind telling me why that's in the back?
I don't know, sir. That situation was weird to me, that she would be
So the Kip Gibson thing, okay. That was some stuff that was in the back of that security truck that had nothing to do with me. It was some boxes back there that's been in the back of that truck ever since they assigned that vehicle to me. Okay. I never questioned what the shit was. I was like, they're just boxes back there with this person's name on it. I didn't even pay that much of attention to even read the name that was on those boxes. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, man, I'm working for a security company. I'm not worried about that. Like, they're not going to have nothing in there that's going to try to get me in trouble. But then again, Bible says you can't trust nobody. So I should have inquired as to what was in there, but I didn't, because I just figured that's just something that has to do with maybe another supervisor used that vehicle to work another post, and maybe that's some material that they just have in there to use when they're working that post. Because I wasn't the only person that uses that vehicle. I'm only assigned that vehicle for the time frame of the shift that I work. Okay, so when I'm done with my shift, then someone else takes the vehicle and use it to go to their post. So it's different people using that vehicle. Okay, so that's where that Kim Gibson shit came from.
following me. I'm doing patrols around the neighborhood like I'm supposed to, and I'm just trying to figure out.
In the neighborhood, so it's not weird, actually.
But for her to be following me, to me that was very strange. She was making a right turn. I'm making a left.
She's asserting her right to drive where she wants, right?
Well, yep, that's true. But
hey man,
I was just doing my job.
I get you. No problems. I've never encountered a security officer that wouldn't ID. I mean, some people don't. I mean, it's just weird to me. But I mean, you do you, and we all make our decisions, right?
Sure.
Do you have any questions for us?
So will there be an?
All right. Well, she's looking at it real quick.
Okay.
But well, there you go. You can still continue any questions you got.
Oh. So there'll be an incident number affiliated with this encounter.
Well, there's always an incident.
Okay. That was the only question I had.
Would you like that?
Yes, please.
I'll get you that.
Thank you. And what's your name and badge number?
Blair, 1936.
Okay.
You mentioned that the security level 2, you're not allowed to have, is it just handguns, or is the long gun normal for that?
On my person. I can have it in the vehicle with me, but I can't have it on my person because it's a level 2 post. I am licensed as a level 3 officer, but this is not a level 3 post, so I'm not authorized to have it on my person.
Gotcha.
And see, my employers tried to say that me having it in the vehicle is me having it on my person. And that's bullshit. They knew the situation that I was in. They knew that I was homeless. I didn't have nowhere else to put my guns. And I surely wasn't going to let them hold on to my guns while I am off working a post. Man, I've had my vehicle sabotaged. I wasn't going to leave my guns in my personal vehicle at corporate because people have gotten into my damn vehicle while I've left my vehicle at corporate to go work these posts. So what do I look like leaving my firearms in my personal vehicle, sitting in another area, another location while I'm somewhere else? How stupid would that be? These people are known for sabotaging your property. They would love to sabotage your firearms so that when you need it the most, you can't pull off a round because they bent the firing pin. You get what I'm saying? Bullshit.
You have a body cam,
Yeah, it's rolling.
and it is rolling.
From the second I got it,
Okay,
within 30 seconds of you.
cool. Okay.
Yeah, why aren't you rolling yours?
Oh, it's rolling.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought that was the ones that opened up.
Oh no, it's not.
He just realized that my body cam was rolling. Like, hell yeah, I got it. I always have it rolling on y'all. Got me messed up.
I was kind of surprised. It looked like you're. I mean, I noticed your phone's recording. I was like, well, I guess if he doesn't want his body cam rolling, that's him. So,
Nah, player, I got everything rolling. I got cameras that you can see and cameras you can't see. So, yeah, whatever.
oh, is it just that little top?
Yeah. Right. The
I haven't seen
Axon. You're not familiar with these? Oh.
I've seen the Axons that have that protective cover, but I didn't know they had any that didn't. Like, that was one of the things that I've heard a lot of people like those for, is that they are less apt to break because when you shut it off, it actually closes the cover.
Right. Right.
But
Okay.
I've never used Axon. It's always WatchGuard. That's
Gotcha.
what we use.
Okay.
You had any thoughts to get into law enforcement? I mean, if you're...
I did.
Hell no, because a lot of these departments are crooked as hell. Like I said earlier, the movie Serpico. Y'all need to watch that movie, 1973, Al Pacino movie. Okay, that was the main thing that deterred me from becoming a police officer. And you've heard these stories to where you have a cop who found out about some corruption in the department, then all of a sudden this cop is targeted. His family's broken up. He's getting a divorce. I mean, everything just life just goes into shambles. So this is what happens. It doesn't. This is not something that just happens to regular citizens. This shit can happen to police officers too. They get targeted. So that's why I try to tell people, don't always think that a police officer is a perp or a security officer is always a perp. That's not true. I have had police officers that have inadvertently helped me out. Okay, it wasn't always about them irritating me or rolling up on me in the middle of the night. Some of them I actually felt like was kind of like trying to like look out for me in a way. Okay, and I've made videos about this in the past. So, no thank you.
You're well versed in the law, and you want to do security, want to be armed, why not the next step?
I thought about it. I actually applied for the DEA a couple years ago, but it just seems like there's a lot.
And see, it probably took offense to that, because why not local law enforcement? Why'd you have to go a step above that? Some of these people they're like, they get paranoid about shit like that. Like, why wouldn't he just want to start with local law enforcement and work his way up? Like, why go straight to the DEA? Because I saw y'all motherfuckers in the hoods, excuse my French, the hoods that I've lived in. I've had an opportunity to live in different social economic statuses, if I'm even saying that right. I've lived amongst the rich, I've lived in middle class, and I've lived in the ghettos. Okay, I have seen it all. And I saw police officers peddling drugs out of their police vehicles. Okay, I saw this. My ex-wife's baby daddy was a Houston police officer that got 5 years in prison because he got caught for drug trafficking. Okay, so don't be fooled or deceived. Okay, this shit really goes on. This shit really happens.
A lot of like corruptness going on. It's like I don't want to be, not saying that all officers are corrupt, but I would just hate to get involved with a group that were like that and end up getting targeted. Like, I've known people be in law enforcement and shed some things that were going on to light, and they end up getting targeted or killed and things of that nature. And it's like if I'm going in as a, as a good officer. And
Well, everybody I know, that's
Watch Training Day, Officer Hoyt. That's another good one of how some of these police departments are, how they operate. You go in thinking that you're going in to do the right thing, and then you find out you dealing with a bunch of wolves. You dealing with wolves in sheep's clothing. These clean cut looking people, and man, they are some of the worst criminals that you could ever imagine. Is police that's doing the criminal activity, and that's the God honest truth.
the way they want to go in.
Oh, really?
It's one of those, if everybody who wants to do good won't join, then who's left to join?
right. That's true.
So, I mean, what made you choose DEA then? Just normal old...
Because at the time, I was living in the hood and I saw a lot of drug activity, and I figured, hey, I could clean up. But come to find out, some of the officers patrolling in that area were actually distributing the drugs.
That's not good. What city was that in?
Houston.
Houston, bigger city. I mean, it's not. I'll be straight up. It's not surprising. I mean, in a lot of the bigger departments, the more people you have, the more humans you have.
Right.
And as that goes, with
Sure.
every group, there's people that don't walk the straight and narrow.
Right. Am I still being detained?
Yeah, till she's done. I appreciate the patience.
Okay.
So
Oh, he got frustrated because he was in his vehicle, obviously listening to the whole thing, and they saw that I wouldn't budge, or I wouldn't bend, or even brake. So he got frustrated. He skedaddled off. But it's important for you to stand your ground no matter what, because especially you're not doing no wrong. Okay, these people are full of shit. Okay, a homeless dude trying to make a living, and these people giving me hell for doing my job. Okay, these people should be ashamed of themselves, and I really hope that they get what they deserve in life for doing this to somebody, for being a part of doing this to somebody that was just trying to make a living and survive. Okay, there was nothing that I did that was bad. They just tried to use the situation as a means to get rid of me, and that's all it was. At the end of the day, they all knew what was up. Now he doing donuts in the parking lot and shit.
is that a Remington?
What's that? Oh, the shotgun?
Yeah.
I don't want to answer that question.
See, I'm about to either get me a Remington or a Mossberg. I kind of like the Mossbergs myself because of the tongue safety, but
Okay.
I do like the ability to put an extension on the Remington,
Okay.
carry a few more rounds.
Gotcha.
Give them nothing but take everything.
It's a pretty nice neighborhood.
Yeah. Too nice for me. I couldn't afford it.
Right?
Yeah, that neighborhood was immaculate. Oh my God, it was so just, man. Like I would just like park and just look off at some of these houses, and it's like, wouldn't it be nice to have something like that? But then you wonder, what does it take to get that? You know what I mean? What does it take to have something like this? What does it take to keep it? That stuff ran through my mind too. But I liked that job. I liked patrolling and just being to myself, and had a lot of opportunity to think and just have like quiet moments, and it was a simple job, just telling people that their garage doors were open. You know what I mean? Like, look on the phone list, look up the address, find out, the phone number and all that, call them up, like, hey, hello, sir, ma'am, I just wanted you to be aware your garage is open, and yada, 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 and that was it, it wasn't, they act like, I had this complex job to where all I had to do was take pictures of my little checkpoints. Like the checkpoints was the little cross streets. Like I got to a certain street, I had to take a picture. Then when you take the picture, it automatically has a time stamp on it, so it shows that you were there at that time. And just simple shit, But they try to add extra stuff to it to make the job more complex and hard. And then when you're an experimentee, or they're experimenting on you and running these psychological operations on you, of course the job's going to be a lot more complex because you got to duck and dodge and maneuver through that bullshit when all you want to do is just work a normal shift and take your ass home, or take my ass back to a church parking lot. In my case, I didn't have a home to go to at the time. Now, granted, I had some wonderful people in Dallas that looked out for me, this couple that lived in Plano. So but this was after I wasn't working for the security company when I met them or whatever, and they really looked out for me, and I'm grateful for that, because there were times where it was like cold, the weather was real cold, like icy cold, like your car door is frozen shut, and they would offer me refuge in their home, to stay in their daughter's room while their daughter was off in at college and stuff like that. So I am grateful for that. I did have that help when I was in Dallas, off and on. So shout out to them. They know who they are.
Very nice stuff.
Oh, I'm gonna keep my hands on my pocket.
Anything you do want to talk about? You are willing to?
Uh,
I'll talk about politics. So I've had enough of people fighting over politics tonight that I'm done with it for the next 4 years.
I hear you. Not really. Just anxious
Right
to get.
now, this is what I would appreciate. Will you just sit over there for me?
Sure.
On the curb?
Sure.
Uh-oh.
Your sergeant's on her way.
Okay.
Figure everything else out from there.
All right.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
They got one of their own on the curb. Ain't that a bitch? They got me sitting on the curb, a uniformed security officer on the curb, and I did nothing wrong. Bright lights all in my face. I wasn't even embarrassed that night. I have dealt with this for so long. Like there's no shame or like how in the beginning, like it's kind of embarrassing a little bit to deal with this shit. But you go through it for so long and you just look at it like, damn, like all I try to do is just live my life to myself and just be left the fuck alone. But these people, they just find their ways to make your life a living hell, no matter what your intent is. They want to make your life a living hell. They want to wear you out to where you give up, either kill yourself or you go out on a shooting rampage, or they can get you in a mental facility. Because those are the main goals, those three right there. So ain't none of that shit happening with me. I mean, they've gotten me locked up, but I've never been convicted of anything, and the crimes that they accused me of, I didn't even commit anyways. So they just drug me through the motions just for the mere inconvenience and just to cause me, you know, to give me hardship and to give me a hard time, as they like to say. Oh, we're giving you a hard time. So, anyways, let's see what happens. I could fast forward all this, but I want to play it all the way through so y'all can see everything. So it's not said that I tried to hide anything, or if y'all need to fast forward through as you watch or whatever, by all means, do what you got to do. But I'm playing the whole damn thing all the way through.
You guys have, are they like assigned squads, like everybody has their own, or is it just you go grab one and drive it, or how does that work?
It just depends on the post and what's going on with scheduling and shifts and stuff like that. So
Is it like ours, it's not assigned, but everybody takes the same one every time.
oh really?
It's just kind of like a unwritten, like the unmarked is mine, I always take that,
Right,
use that one.
right.
It's all tactics, you know. Have a seat, you know what I mean? That's more psyops that they use to make it seem like the situation has been escalated, when really they still have nothing. You know, they don't have anything to say that I committed any crime. So it's all tactics. Don't ever be fearful of these types of situations. Especially, the only reason why you would have to be fearful is if you know that you've done some shit, you've done something wrong, and you know you're gonna get caught. But if you're in a situation where you know you've done no wrong, don't ever let these types of tactics cause any fear, cause you to be nervous or anything like that, because that's what they want. Because all they have is the information that you give them to work off of to try to incriminate you. And you have to know that you are not obligated by any means to assist with any criminal investigation against yourself. Always remember that no matter where you are in this country or even in the world, you are not obligated to help police investigate you. That's law. That's even in the Constitution. Okay? So be aware of the laws in your state, in your country, wherever you're at. It's very important.
Where's it based out of?
I'm sorry?
Where is it based out of? Is
The-
it like a central station that everybody picks up their car from, or is it like
I don't want to answer that question.
Okay. You want to give any explanation for the packages or anything like that?
For the packages? Oh, those packages are always in there.
They're always in there?
The boxes in the back, yeah, those are always in there.
Like every vehicle has those?
I'm not sure about every vehicle.
Now that did make me a little nervous. I'm like, okay, did my employers put some shit in there or something? Because he kept talking about them packages. Okay, from my experience, I've always used that vehicle, but I'm not the only one that uses that vehicle. Okay, them boxes have always been back there. Now, whether them boxes have been switched out throughout the course of me using the vehicle throughout my employment with that company, I didn't pay much attention to it to even realize that. You get what I'm saying? But now that I think about it, man, whenever you're assigned a vehicle, whether it's through an employer or even a rental, make it your priority to search that vehicle, to search it from top to bottom, inside out, because you just never know. And that was something that I thought about when my ass was sitting on that curb. Like, did my damn Masonic ass employers put something in those boxes to try to frame me for something? And it wouldn't even stick in court because that's not my MO. I don't do drugs. I don't deal cocaine or weed or pills or anything like that. So that would be totally out of my character or profile of anything. Even if they do have me on a watch list, they have profiles on you when you're on the watch list. Things that you like to do, what you don't like. Everything that they know everything about you. They have it on file. So that's not something that fits my MO. Okay, so I wasn't worried about it, but I did wonder.
You know before?
I have no idea. They're just in there.
Boxes in a car.
They've been in there ever since I used the vehicle, so.
How long you been using that one?
I don't want to answer that question. Is there any reason why you're inquiring about packages in the vehicle and all that?
Well, I mean, because if they're not your packages,
Uh-huh.
I wonder why they're in the vehicle with you.
It's a company truck. I don't control what they what they want in their vehicles.
Fair enough. If that's the case, then that's the case. You have to be on probation for anything?
I'm sorry?
Do you have to be on probation or anything? Or is it warrants? Or I'm still flabbergasted why. Cause here's
I'm
the
not
deal.
on probation. I don't have any warrants. I just,
What I needed earlier is just to write down who I talked to.
Sure,
So
sure.
like I said, I talked to them, I was going to be on my way.
Uh-huh.
When things start being a little more suspicious, I look and there's a gun in the vehicle. We start seeing other packages. It's like just kind of compounding of the suspicious things. So I'm just wondering why you wouldn't just want to get me on my way from the beginning.
Yeah, all that was suspicious, but it wasn't suspicious that this woman followed me. It wasn't suspicious that she put on her signal to make a right turn, and then she saw that I wasn't making the right turn, and that I continued to keep straight, and then she cut her signal off to continue to follow me. The fact that she turned down a one-way road with children in the car, none of that shit was suspicious, right? But me being on a security post in uniform, in a clearly I'm in a security patrol vehicle, but that's suspicious. Okay, I'm a security officer. What are some of the things um, that are normally affiliated with security officers? Flashlights, uh, handcuffs, um, duty belts, pepper spray, mace, firearms. Okay, so what's suspicious about that? Okay, didn't have the firearms on my person; they were in my vehicle, in the security company's vehicle, rather. Okay, so it's again, it's an act. All right, it's just them furthering their setup.
To me, the situation with this lady following me, that was more suspicious than anything else. Obviously, I'm a security officer. I'm doing my patrols, and that's just it. That's just it. I was just simply asserting my rights, not to give anybody a hard time. I get that you guys have your investigations that you do and stuff like that, but as a citizen, I am obligated to assert my rights. Lawfully, I'm not obligated to assist with an investigation against me because that's what this is, and that's just respectfully, that's just where where I'm at. So, I'm just out here doing my job.
You have your pocket card on you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May I see that, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Where is that?
It's in my
Okay.
wallet. Is it okay to?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Aha! Aha! See? They were lawfully, they can get that. But see, they didn't ask me for that. Okay? They didn't ask me for that. They asked me for my ID. So, had I not given them my pocket card, they surely could have taken me to jail for that. So, that's what I was waiting on. I was like, I wonder if they're going to ask me for my pocket card. Because, see, you're supposed to present that to law enforcement if they actually request your pocket card. Your security pocket card or whatever, because you're supposed to have that on you whenever you're working post. You're supposed to have that. All right? So, I definitely had to give that to him. Clearly, she didn't know that from the jump. She had to do a little research and then come back and then circle back to me and then be like, hey, do you have the pocket card? And then had I not given that to him, then they could have been like, could have used that as an offense to arrest me.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
What level are you?
2 and 3.
2 and 3?
Yes, ma'am. Do you need my level 3 card?
No, sir. This is fine. I was just asking. I'm curious.
Now that I can give to you.
With the level 3 card?
No, when you asked me as an officer for my security card, I'm obligated to give that to you. So
She didn't know that. They had to go do the little research and all this stuff. It was like, well, if he doesn't give that to you, and I could clearly hear my boss's voice on the other line. Like I didn't hear him physically, but I just something in me just like, well, if he doesn't give that to you, arrest him. Because again, the dude's a Mason. Okay, Masons run the police. You know, they control all that shit. So they were trying to find a reason not only to get me fired, but also to get me in handcuffs too. So.
very well aware of the law.
Aware of the law that they don't follow. But will damn sure use it against them. Twenty vision. Oh gosh. I guess I will skim through it. I'm trying to hold on. Let me. Yeah, I see some movement. Here they go.
What happened?
I was driving
This is my employer. These are my yeah, my employers.
from Lorimar, from back down that way, headed this way for the 10 p.m. shutdown of the community center, and I noticed that a white vehicle was following me. I observed from the rearview mirror her putting on her right signal to make a right turn. I was going left. I had to stop to make sure it was clear for me to make my turn, but I noticed instead of her making her turn, she still kept up with my vehicle. So I was under the assumption that she was following me. I asked her what was going on. She said that I almost caused a wreck, and I was confused because she missed her turn. Like, she chose to keep following my vehicle. So after that happened, I proceeded to pull in to this area, and then she continued to follow me. She pulled up next to me. She's holding up her phone. I also had my phone held up recording her, and I think I called Sergeant Cottle and let her know what was going on. And then I went ahead and pulled into the community center here, and she didn't follow me anymore, but she just stayed parked over just down that way. And I just continued to observe her, and then the next thing I know, Plano Police Department shows up.
Okay.
So,
How was your interaction with police?
we had communication. It was
Yeah. You gave them your
cordial.
name?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because I was asserting my rights and not giving my identifying information because I had not committed a crime.
Okay.
But then the officer
Were
did
they
specify
investigating a crime?
it was an investigation that was being conducted. Yes, sir.
They were investigating a crime.
They didn't say that they were specifically investigating a crime, but they were conducting an investigation.
Did you notify him that you were investigating a crime?
A crime? No, we were just called down to investigate.
Okay.
Okay.
So even she said that a crime. So it was called in that I committed a crime, right? If you're under the influence of something and you're driving around a security vehicle, obviously that's a crime, right? So they were investigating a crime. And even the female officer just confirmed that. So I was under no obligation to identify myself lawfully because they were investigating a crime that I had not committed. So, yeah. But the loophole with that was I am a security officer working on a post, and I am supposed to have my pocket card on me. Lawfully, that's, I have to have my pocket card on me. So that's how they were able to finagle that situation to be able to find out my name, But they didn't request that initially, okay? She wanted my ID. My Texas ID is different from security officer pocket card ID, okay? So, yeah.
You
But-
still hadn't given me a reason as to why you didn't identify yourself to the police officers being a commissioned or non-commissioned officer working out there on our post.
I did, sir. She asked me for my pocket card, and she has my pocket card.
Okay. But you didn't volunteer your name. You had to give her your pocket card. She had to go as far as to ask you for your license, your security license.
Of course. I wasn't giving them nothing. Because, again, if I had got hemmed up in the court system behind this bullshit, that security company wasn't going back for me. They wasn't going to hire no attorney for me or nothing like that. So, whatever.
I didn't know the dynamic or the parameter of the stop. I was under the assumption they were investigating a crime because she mentioned something about the other lady saying that I was. I'm sorry?
A crime that you committed?
Yes, sir. This officer here said, the other lady said that I appeared to be on something or something like that. So when she started using that verbiage, I had to assert my rights to protect myself.
Sure.
So.
Okay.
That was it. That's all.
Okay. I noticed that there's a shotgun in the car.
Yes, sir.
Why is there a shotgun in my truck?
I didn't want to leave it in my vehicle in case it got broken into at corporate, and I always have that in my personal vehicle.
Okay.
And
But it doesn't go in my vehicle, right? We've had this conversation.
oh no, not on my person. I was told that I can't have any weapons on my person.
Or in my vehicle.
That wasn't.
He never told me anything about not having it in the vehicle. The conversation we had was to not have firearms on my person. Okay? On my person, as in a holster, in my pants, on me, on my body. That's what it means when you say on your person, like on your body.
Wasn't told to me. And the only reason why I have it in there is because I didn't want to leave it in my personal vehicle in case someone breaks in and steals, my firearms. So, and you were there this evening when you saw me transferring. I guess you didn't see that, but you did see me transferring.
I saw water bottles. I didn't see.
There are just things I didn't.
Bullshit. You saw water bottles, you saw my shotgun, because my shotgun was right there. These people would walk by my vehicle occasionally when I was beginning of my shift, when I had to make my way over to the lakeside on Preston. There are numerous times these people have walked by, have even talked to me right next to the vehicle and have seen the contents of the vehicle and saw my firearms in there. Okay? So it's bullshit. It was a complete setup. They tried to use that situation because, for one, I wasn't wearing the mask, and two, I record every damn thing. So whatever bullshit they tried to pull with me, they couldn't get away with because I always had video evidence. That's all it was. You're dealing with people that are deceitful, that are not honest, and when you have someone who can prove them wrong, evil doesn't like that. Okay? They don't like that. So, finish playing the video.
Right. I didn't want to leave in my vehicle up there.
So, knowing that we've had the conversation about you working as a commissioned officer at this non-commissioned post and that you couldn't carry weapons, what made you think it was okay to put a weapon in the car?
I don't carry the weapons on my person, sir.
That's not that wasn't my question.
Okay.
My question was, you are a commissioned officer working a non-commissioned post.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And we've explained to you that you could not carry weapons while you're working this post.
I was not carrying no weapons. Listen to his words. He's trying to play it off like I had weapons on me. When you look up the definition of on my person, it tells you that it means on your body, like you have it on you. You got it on you. Not it's sitting next to me or it's in the back seat. That's not on your person, okay? So he's playing semantics and all this kind of shit to try to prove this bullshit ass point when really he's not correct in this situation.
So you can dice up the semantics all you want to, but that's still a weapon on my post.
I have a recorded conversation between myself and Wolf about having the weapons in the vehicle.
What was my last direction to you?
You told me not to have it on my person on post.
Not to have it on your person or on the post. Is this vehicle the post?
No, sir, that's...
This is where you report to post, right? I start paying you when you get in this vehicle.
Right.
So that's your...
Negative. The post is the actual site. The post is not the damn vehicle. Okay? The post is the actual site that I work. When they say you need to report to this post, okay, the post is the actual site where you start the job, not me getting into the vehicle. So again, he's doing the whole semantics thing. Oh, we start paying you when you're in this vehicle, so that means you're on post. No. I'm en route to post. Okay? And I'm not even actually on post yet. So he is not correct in this situation.
Your post. This is the site you patrol. That's your post.
I thought the post is when I
start
actually
paying you when you get in that vehicle, right?
I don't start the post until
I start paying you when you get in that vehicle. That's when you call on duty, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just as long as you got that recorded too. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Third thing.
There was no winning in that situation, so I had no choice but to just refrain from saying anything else in reference to that at that point, because it was already set. It didn't matter what I said, what video evidence I had of anything. They already had their mind made up, so it was pointless for me to continue saying anything in reference to that at that point.
Why are you not in uniform?
I do have my uniform on, sir. I have my jacket.
Excuse me?
I have
Okay, so
my rear section.
let's play that game. So, where is your name tag?
It's in the vehicle.
Texas Occupational Code 1702 says that you have to have the company patch, the word security, and your name on your outermost garment. Where's your name tag?
For one, the jacket that I'm wearing is made of nylon. How am I able to compromise that nylon jacket with a pin, and then they'll say, "Oh, you're destroying company property"? You see how that shit goes? If I were to wear that name tag pin on that jacket that is made of nylon, when you stick something through nylon, you've totally destroyed and compromised that material. So what he was saying again was incorrect. Okay, I had on a security jacket that has the name of my security company that I work for on that jacket. I clearly had signage on me showing that I am a security officer that works for that company. Okay, so it's all just bullshit that they're trying to stir up to try to prove this point that's not even correct, to try to just get rid of me. So let's continue watching.
The name tag has a
It's not on your outermost garment.
but it has a pin.
Not on your
My outermost garment was the damn jacket. How am I supposed to compromise a nylon jacket with a pin? He couldn't even answer that question.
outermost garment, is it?
It has a pin that you can't compromise on the jacket. It's not.
Yeah, because
Where
I provide you with a shirt.
Where would you put the where would you put the pin?
I provide you with a uniform shirt, right?
But I had the jacket on because it felt kind of cold. But where would you put the pin on this jacket?
Why
How
is
would
the uniform shirt not under the jacket?
because I have the Ameritech.
He just said outermost garment, and then he's talking about the uniform under the jacket. He just got through saying that it needed to be on your outermost garment. The outermost garment that I was wearing was the damn jacket. But again, he could not answer my question. How am I supposed to compromise a jacket which material is comprised of nylon? Okay? How am I supposed to stick a pin through that and still maintain the integrity of that jacket and that material? He couldn't answer that question. Okay?
Jacket on.
Then you could open the jacket and say, "Here's my name tag."
Right, but I was just
We're
wondering.
Gonna debate this. We're still going to debate this with you.
Well, I was
Even though these officers have the right to arrest you right now.
I was just mad.
No, they do not. They did not have no right to arrest me because I had not committed no criminal offense. None.
Ask a question.
Sure.
I just wanted to find out where on this jacket would I put the name tag. If I have a jacket on because I'm cold, how would I have a name tag on this?
Don't worry about it. You won't ever have to worry about it again. Not at my company. You guys finished with him?
It's like, y'all done with him? like I'm they property or something. Y'all done with him? Like I'm they dog. And look at this bitch. Look at this bitch in the background. She's just so happy that I'm getting it because she's been waiting for this night for so long. Like, she totally did not want me working there, and she was just waiting for the opportunity for this to happen so she could just be so celebratory and just happy and just delighting in her wickedness. And you see how she's just there, like, clapping her hands and swinging them back and forth and all that shit. See, he giving the police orders. Again, I told this dude's a Mason, and he was there pretty much giving them orders at that point. Okay, my supervisor at this company giving them orders. So when I tell you that not all police are these perps or these agent provocateurs, not all security officers, they do it to their own. They clearly they were doing it to me. Not just this company, other companies I work for too. It was the same damn narrative. They have me go to these posts and put me in these situations, and then try to act like they don't know what's going on, or try to play the the gaslighting role. It's the same narrative everywhere. Oh, they're just there's the laughs and the cheering and the celebratory stuff. Now it wasn't so celebratory earlier when I was giving them all that information about the penal codes and pretty much not giving them anything. It wasn't celebratory then, but now they figured, oh well, he's lost his job, so we can celebrate now. Bunch of witches and devils and warlocks and demons, I swear.
comes up, he's going to take you back to your vehicle. You're done for the night, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's the supervisor, the Mason guy. He's the one that really runs the company. The other dude actually owns the company, but since he's the Mason, he's the one that runs things. If that makes sense. That's the patrol vehicle that I was in, that I use on my patrols at this property. And they did this to a person that was homeless, living out their vehicle, trying to make a living. Do you know I had to transfer my food items out of my personal vehicle into this work vehicle? I had to transfer a lot of my stuff because when I first worked for the company, I gave it the benefit of the doubt when I started working that post and leaving my personal vehicle at that corporate office location, because I was like, there's cameras everywhere. It's right in front of a Chase Bank. Okay, it's in a Chase Bank building. There's no way my car's gonna get messed with. Boy, was I wrong. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I came back. My food was tainted, messed with, stuff was moved around. My vehicle started driving funny. Like, it was almost as if my vehicle had got taken somewhere and had parts taken out, and old parts were put in. Like, my vehicle just all of a sudden would make this squeaky noise. It was just like something was going on with my vehicle. But again, it's been said that a lot of these people that are involved with this surveillance and harassment are these private security companies, and that I do believe that. Based off of the experiences that I had worked for these people, they do it to their own. They did it to me all the time. Every time I had to go work a post, there was always psychological operations. They were always trying to put me in situations that were dangerous. Okay? This is the kind of this stuff that I had to deal with. So don't think for 1 second, just because you see a security officer, to automatically think that they are a perp or they're in on the targeting. That's not always true. That's the owner of the owner of the company's vehicle. You know, he was there that night, and he was the one that actually drove me back to corporate, you know, to get back to my vehicle, you know, so that I could leave or whatever.
Hello, sir.
Look at this witch. You know, this is the one I was talking about earlier.
Hello, sir.
Her right there. Her name was Coddle. You know, we go by last names or whatever. One second.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. So she always had a lot of animosity towards me because I was always on top of my game, and she would lie. She would tell lies on me. She would say that I said something that I didn't say, and I always had her ass recorded, and I was always ready to present my video evidence. But that was the main thing that was always suspicious to me, and that's how I knew these people were corrupt and they couldn't be trusted, was because they never wanted to see my video evidence to show that this woman clearly was lying about things. Okay? So she didn't like me for that. all my little food. I had to carry my water in there. Like any little groceries that I made, I could not leave it in my vehicle. So you can imagine like how hard it is. Like all you want to do is just go to work, right? But when you're going through this stuff, you can't even just simply get in your car and just drive off. You got to do all these extra preparations. You got to move and transfer shit because you don't want your stuff to be tainted or messed with. You spend your hard-earned money buying groceries for yourself to have substance and whatnot, and only to come back to find that your shit's been opened. People are spraying chemicals in it. People are putting shit in there that's making you drowsy, so that when I sleep in my vehicle, they pull up and do God knows what while I'm asleep. You get what I'm saying? So this is the kind of stuff that was going on, and I did what I did to protect myself. But these people don't give a damn about that. They knew what was going on, but they didn't care. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's always the target's fault, no matter what. Even if you have evidence to show that they're not in the wrong, it's always going to be the target's fault. The target's always going to be the fall guy, the scapegoat. It's just what it is.
Is it okay if I lift up this vest to make a little room, or?
It's all sweaty.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Your backpack here.
Yeah, my backpack's in there.
Which one is yours?
That one.
The blue one?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything in there that I should know about?
No,
Any
sir.
weapons or anything in there?
No, sir.
You mind if I look?
I don't mind. Well, yeah.
And that was my damn mistake. I should have not have given him consent to go off in my bag. But I didn't think the next thing that he did was I really didn't agree with. You'll see. But that was my mistake. Like, why the hell would I give him the okay to go in my bag? I wouldn't even give law enforcement the okay, but I gave him the okay. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking at that point, but it happened.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my handgun is in there.
And she just is over there just a swinging her hands and just as happy as she can be. Like that totally just made her night. Let me roll it back a little bit so you can see this witch. Just a swinging and just as happy as she can be.
Yes, sir.
Oh crap, I was gonna. Never mind. All them damn Kim Gibson boxes. See, this was shit. Hold on. Let me go back a tad bit. See, all these boxes have been in that truck. Like, ain't none of them boxes any of my business. I just figured that was stuff that they were needing to use on other posts. That had nothing to do with me. Like I said before, I wasn't the only one using the vehicle. I was assigned to use that vehicle for my shift, but when my shift was done, you had other people that worked different shifts that also used the same vehicle. So they tried to use that to be like, oh, it's just suspicious. He has a gun in his vehicle. He's not supposed to have a gun on his person, which it wasn't on my person. It was in the vehicle. Then they tried to tie in the boxes. Like, what's in those boxes, huh? Like, what you got in there? Just bullshit.
All right, I got everything.
You have the site phone?
Yes, ma'am.
I should have flung it at her.
Okay, so I've taken possession of your shotgun and your pistol. Okay? I'm going to secure them for the evening, and I will be in the office at 10 o'clock tomorrow. We'll continue your disciplinary action at that point, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
You can sit in front.
Okay. My
Truck. Back to the office.
are my firearms in this vehicle? Okay. Is there any reason in particular why my firearms are being confiscated?
Sir, I don't feel safe with you right now. Okay?
Why is it?
Level 3 operating under my license, I don't feel safe with you with firearms right now.
I think it's kind of suspicious that my firearms are being taken. Legally, you can't take my firearms from a legal standpoint. From a legal standpoint, you
Sue.
And that would have not done any good because, again, he's a Mason, and you know how that goes. And that's why I say all this bullshit that goes on in this world where people are talking about, oh, just take these people to court and sue them and file these different types of lawsuits or what have you against these people. That shit, they run the courts, man. These people run the court system, okay? It's like you going to the devil for help, for assistance on this. So I see beyond it all. The whole thing, the whole system is corrupt. It is not in the favor of the just. It's not in the favor of the righteous. It's in favor of the evil that runs this world, and it looks after the evil that runs this world because it's doing the bidding of the world. It says in the Bible, the world is given into the hands of the wicked. So, again, you got to pick certain battles. You got to be wise about certain situations. And at that point, I just wanted to get the hell up out of there. I was like, whatever. Did God knows what to my guns. I'm pretty sure they took them to a police station or something to try to see if they had been used in a crime or something like that. Because the shit didn't make no sense to me. Like, why are you taking... And do you know some bullshit happened that night? When I left... When he took me back to corporate, there was like this vehicle or something that tried some vehicular shenanigan against me on the road. Because they knew I wasn't armed, right? So they tried their little bullshit. So I thought that was really coincidental that he takes my firearms and all of a sudden I'm getting these people that are just extra bold with me on the road. You get what I'm saying? So, it all ties in together.
proceed to the vote?
Yes, sir.
And I love Dallas. Like it's so beautiful out there. You know, the structure of the buildings, the roadways, the structure of the freeways, and just how it's kind of like has this mountainous. Some areas are kind of like hilly and mountainous, and it was just so. It was such a refreshing. It was very refreshing to be in a different space. I had lived in Houston for so long, and it was like it had gotten so old just living there for so long, and it was like I was just so delighted when I made that change. Now my experience as far as like with the harassment got worse, but at least I was in an area that was aesthetically pleasing to my eyes. You know what I mean? More so than Houston was. But
Mind if I play the radio?
Oh, not at all.
Thanks. Thank you very much indeed for that. Catch up with my
what's wrong? You didn't want no awkward silence? You didn't want me to start asking questions and yeah, you had to play that music to kill that awkward silence to give me opportunity of room to ask questions.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you so much for offering. Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you, sir.
And I think that was around Halloween time. What November 13th? No, Halloween had just passed. I guess I was leftover Halloween candy. 'Cause I'm like, why is this dude trying to give me candy? Or chocolate is known to put you in a better mood or something like that. Isn't chocolate supposed to be some side of it does something to make you feel better or something like that, or put you in a better mood? It stimulates better mood. I really wasn't bothered by what happened. Like, it sucked because I'm like, damn, like I'm about to lose my job. You know, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do for work now. What income am I gonna have? You know, I was thinking about that, but I've been dealing with this shit for so long. It's like I'll get another job. You know, I just got to go through the whole process again of finding work, as I've always done in the past. So, you know, I wasn't worried or nothing. I didn't have any worries about it. It just sucks. Like, your intent is to do your job and to be the best that you can be, and to be prosperous, and to possibly move up and get promoted, and who knows, one day even run the company or start your own company. But they always find ways to stop that in its track. When they see that you're getting too good, you know, they always try to find some kind of way to hinder it. You know what I mean? It's like there's something you got to sacrifice. They got to do something, you know, to get a piece of your contentment or a piece of your progress. So that was just a journey back to corporate. I'm gonna kind of skim through that. I thought I got some good scenery of like the skyline. I just wanted y'all to see that too, because I thought that was so beautiful. Like the drive back to corporate, the skyline of some of the high-rise buildings and all that. I mean, there literally was no talking. Like, you know, it was just silent and just the radio, and that was pretty much it. I had a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about and ask, but I was like, you know what? It ain't even no point, because even though he owns the company, he ain't running it. The Mason's running it. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like he can override what the Mason is saying, you know, because the Mason is the one that's opening doors for his company to be successful, from what I've heard anyways, from other people that work there. You know, they weren't really doing as well until Jerry came on the scene, which is the Mason's name. Jerry Wardlaw, and all of a sudden all these doors and accounts started opening up for the company. So, yep, that's how it goes.
All that has been happening to top us over and then we've forgotten all our problems in Gabon, and it's a very, very proud moment, even for me and as a captain.
So this is us getting back to corporate. That's where the security office
appreciate the ride,
is
sir.
housed. You would think that my vehicle would be safe in that parking lot, but they were messing with my vehicle. Isn't that just sad? Look at that. I'm the bag man. You got the bag lady. I was the bag man. You know, every night that I worked, I had to go through this process of transferring all my stuff out of one. Can you imagine how tiring that is? On top of going through people following you, the vehicular harassment, the crowding and mobbing in stores, and dealing with bullshit at work. You know, like, can you imagine having to do this just to protect your consumptions? Because these people put poisons, they do nasty shit to your food. They'll open things where it's like, okay, I didn't buy it open, so why is the safety seal compromised on this? You know, just stuff like that.
You could just toss it at the back. Thank you.
So again, they wanted me unarmed because they wanted to put me in a situation of danger, and they didn't want me to have the means to protect myself, plain and simple. Okay? When I started out with the company, I started out at a commission post where I was armed, and they would still put me in dangerous situations there. They would have me go to this known nightclub that was known to be frequented by gang members and drug dealers and, you know, the low-life scums of society, and they would have me go in there trying to take pictures of them in the establishment because they had problems with the property manager was complaining that these people were staying later than what they were supposed to, and they wanted us to get evidence for the property manager so they could take them to court. So they tried to use me to do the dirty work. So my car got sabotaged the hell out of by these people. And was my security company there to bat for me, to protect me? Fuck no. Okay? Hell no. So I didn't give a damn about what they had to say about my firearms or anything like that, because again, if there arose a situation where I had to go to court or having something to do with the law, you know, they're not going to be there to bat for me. So I did what I had to do to protect myself at the end of the day. Plain and simple. This is almost over with.
You want to stand that up, right?
Sure, thank you. Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Backpack?
I have it. So I guess that's everything?
Good?
Looks like it, yes sir. Those are your... Okay, that's your... I have a blue one looks just like that, so I know that's yours. Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
You too, thank you.
Alright, so that's the end of that. And damn, this was like almost 2 hours or over 2 hours. Jeez. God bless you if you watch the whole thing. But I just had to put this out there because I know people say that security officers are involved in this and all that. And in fact, there are officers that are involved. Of course, there are private security companies that are involved, but not everyone that works for these entities are in on it. Okay, so just be aware that they did it to they do it to their own. Just like you have police departments that will do this to certain police officers that they feel are insubordinate, you know, that try to speak truth to power and will expose things that are going on that are corrupt. You don't make it in departments like that because these people are like gangs. You know, it's been said, you know, in the movies, outside of movies, that you know the police are the biggest gang members in the world. You know, that's the biggest gang in the world is police. They all have each other's back, what they call the blue line or whatever. You know, so that's just how it is. And if you have somebody who's not with the program, and part of being a law enforcement officer is you have to know how to take orders. You know, you take orders from your superiors and you don't deviate from that. Otherwise, you may not have a job, you know. Or they might try to transfer you somewhere else, you know, the desk job or some shit, or I don't know. But this is why I chose not to go into law enforcement, because they would certainly have me killed. Because I would not be a part of taking bribes. I would not be a part of engaging in criminal activity as a law enforcement officer. And that's just how it is. So, anywho, yeah, I just want to put that out there. Leave comments or what have you. And until the next one.